So a few years ago, when I started working as a midwife, okay, I was in one of the district hospitals, and I was at the antenatal unit. That is antenatal clinic. Basically, that's where we take care of pregnant women. From the time you find out you're pregnant, throughout your pregnancy, we take care of you, and everything has to do with pregnancy, we handle you good. So that's where I was. And one day, a very nice young lady came to the antenatal clinic. That was actually her first pregnancy and her first visit as well to the clinic. And she was actually a newly married lady, so you see, they found their rings, that kind of thing. But she was super nice. She was so nice, she was friendly, and we actually had a great time. And you see, when you come for the first time, you do a lot of labs, you go through a lot of stuff. So she did her labs and all that. So then I had to do the HIV and the syphilis test, which are two STIs that we have to test for, because if it is positive, it has an effect on the pregnancy as well, on your growing fetus. So you have to check these two as well. So I asked her what she knew about syphilis, about HIV, and she had a lot of knowledge. She told me all that she knew about it. So the ones that she had wrong, I just corrected her. I added up to what she already knew about these two STIs. Then I sought her permission before doing the test for her as well. So I did a test, and then the results came, and it was good news and bad news. Let's talk about the good news first. Okay, so she was HIV negative. Hooray! But then again, she was syphilis positive. Yeah. But then I explained to her that, it says I told you earlier on, syphilis is curable. It can be treated. As long as you go through the medication, as long as you go through the instructions and everything that you've been asked to do, you'll be fine. So there's no need for you to panic, okay? I then went on to explain to her that just like with any other STI, apart from HIV, most of these STIs, when you get them, you have to treat both you and your partner. Like both your partner also have to come for testing, because this STI is in such a way that if both of you have it and only one person goes through the treatment and then you become negative, if you go back and have unprotected sex again with your partner, you're just going to end up reinfecting yourself. So both of you have to, the other partner will have to come and do the test. And if he or she is positive, then both of you go through the treatment. But if your other partner is negative, then no problem. You, the positive, will go through the treatment. But during that period, you do your very best to abstain from sex. Okay, so the treatment is done, and then you're good to go. Okay, we'll do the test again after the treatment to see if you are fine. So I encourage her that she has to let the partner also come, so that we also do the test, and then we know the way forward. I realized that her demeanor had changed, but I felt say it's normal, okay? Nobody will be happy to find out say he or she has an STI, although it's treatable. Like, still now I would say your first time come to the antenatal and then they tell you say you have syphilis, should I be happy like that? So I felt say it's normal. So I was busy documenting my findings, writing everything I have to write and all that stuff. And she was sitting down quietly. All this while we were actually speaking English, But then the next thing, she was like, "It's anti-midwife. So I see ya. Open so stress syphilis, and then we are just say STI. I was like, young man was not really getting to what she was trying to say. So I was like, Mpachoi, STI, a sexually transmitted infection, meaning say, be have this sex when you use condom. Or chances of being very high. Into STI, just say, and then we are so. Into my make an example view. Open so stress say, fan say, say be a say, me dofo back on example na me mo, be an new kuno, only before could die. Nanny pacon, they are when a man, and also so they are brem. That's an officer watcher. I was saying, hey, this woman is trying to put me into trouble. Basically, she's going to go home and tell the husband that anti-midwife say, what for me cheap. And when you're syphilis, and other syphilis, and I blame Mufi. Basically, that's what he's going to tell the husband in the house. I was like, hey, where is my in charge? Yes, my in charge was supposed to come answer this question. So I was like, said I'm the kind of dear. Sana church say, Mrs. Syphilis, you find them. Chess about who will be. That's the man when you see condom. That's all on any doubt raw sana, also so be and then we are here. Was a saying, quite be for being away for sooner syphilis. Miss syphilis no be hagia wunya mu isu tawela munya mu didi boma wunya wona ne ya tu amunya say osisa me say in fact even if you use the same toilet water closet mu use the same atonko kura na ne ba ku no obi kura munya osisa me say osimate. I was like, hey, this woman is trying to put me into trouble, but I will not fall into this trouble. So I told her, say, you see, the good thing is, you know you have it now. It's good to find out now because it can actually have a lot of effect on your growing fetus. It can actually have complications. So you know it now. We will start the treatment. So just let your partner also come, and then he also goes through the treatment if he's positive. So when a woman say, "Hey, yeah, but big deal be like that," you understand? You just found out you're pregnant. Thinking about this is just going to like not make you really happy about the whole thing. She was like, "Oh, no problem. My partner is not in the same town with me, so I'll tell him he'll come over during the weekend." So and I was like, "Good. So Monday, both of you can come, and then we go do the test. And if he's also positive, then you start the treatment. He also start the treatment. So there's no big problem about it." Also, you mate, you there, mate, into the back asawai, mate, you okay? Bye bye, mate. I was like, "Hey." So you see, basically, before I continue with the story, syphilis, okay, it's an STI. As I said, it's an STI. And when it's starting, usually the very beginning, you will not actually get a lot of signs and symptoms. Basically, the first thing is like something like a painless sore, some small, it looks like a pimple, that may be around your mouth, maybe around your genital, like the vulva, the vagina, the penis, the rectum, the anus. It can be found at any of these places that I just mentioned, okay? So it comes and then it goes away after a few weeks. It's not painful, so you may not even notice that you have something like that there. It goes away after some few weeks, and then after some weeks again, you may have some rashes, spreading all over your body, some muscle weakness, be like you feel feverish, be sore throat, be like that. And if you don't go, and then if you don't go for treatment or you don't find out there's syphilis, it also go away. Now when it goes away, now the syphilis is not gone. No, syphilis is not gone, but it's going to hide inside your body, and it can stay there for decades. It can stay there for more than 10 years. You will not feel anything, but then even though you're not really feeling any signs and symptoms, it is actually damaging your organs. Yes, if syphilis is left untreated for a very long time, it can damage your eyes, your heart, your brain. It can make you deaf. It can cause, it can destroy a lot of organs, can destroy your bones. Syphilis is that dangerous when it's left untreated. That's why we always advise you that you need to, have protected sex. If you're married, of course, I can't tell you to use condom. The best I can say is the two of you advise yourselves. But other than that, if you're not, married, please use condom, because one of the best, the surest way of getting syphilis is having unprotected sex with an infected person, having multiple partners. If you have HIV, and then to our gay partners, our gay people, if you are gay, because anus, so you can also get it. Okay, so these are some of the ways, or the common ways that you can get this syphilis. Okay, yeah. So please take care of yourself. Use condom, as I keep saying. So back to the story. So after the treatment, she came back and then she tested and then she was negative. Hooray! So I asked her, say, "Oh, I never saw your partner. I've never actually met you for a while now. Where is your partner?" She was like, "Oh, auntie midwife. So back what dear back so we hear so for cancer testing there. Also we're treating him baby on." I was like, "Oh, you should have, let him also back when you into back will be any problem." I was like, "Okay, fine. Now you come back to do the test and you're negative, so he's also supposed to come and do the test." Or say, "Oh, only problem, my test may say me negative, or also a negative." I was like, "No." I say, "Oh, they matter. My man could test it all." And then I said, "I don't fast and KB." But I wish I was an aunt. The day that she did the first test and she was positive, I wish I was an aunt to go to the house with her to see the violence. No, KB, so if you that. Anyways, that is syphilis for you. I'm sure you thought I was going to tell you that I was a side chick that ended up destroying some marriage. That the wife caught me and then beats me up. And you were happy listening to how I ended up nearly destroying some marriage. Maybe what?